Okay, so if you're seeing my face on the screen, probably a pretty serious video. Last time I did something like this, it was to expose myself for why I didn't make it to the NFL. Today I'm talking about somebody else who has had some NFL troubles, has had quite a bit of a time getting into the NFL themselves. The man, of course, is no other than Mr. Matthew Araiza. So before I even get into this, I'm going to say one quick thing, which is a bit of an apology for not acting more impartial during the whole discussion, debate about him. As somebody with any sort of online following, I think it's up to me to just convey the information as is without presenting too many opinions on it. And I'll let a joke out here and there, maybe about a situation that reflecting on is probably a little inappropriate. Naturally, I think I acted and made my own assumptions, which I probably shouldn't have. Things really stacked up against him that we're about to get into. So first, so you know what's even stacking, let's talk about what happened. Okay, so Matt Araiza was a punter. He was drafted very good. He kind of is a big portion of the reason why my channel started taking off. My first big video was a video about him and his big takeover. He was called the punt god. That was like his name, right? He was very good in college. He had a 51.2 yard average. Let's not get into that, but just know that's very far that he's kicking per punt. So it was good. Likewise, he gets drafted, but then after the draft, some things started to come up. There was these accusations of some alleged misconduct that he had done in college with a female who was at the time 17. These took place in October, and the reasons why I kind of made my assumptions was the background scenario looked pretty good. The day after, she went to the police and filed a report. Then later, when the police were dragging their feet, filed a civil lawsuit. This seems like, at least seemed to me, like the actions that somebody would take, you know, if something bad had happened to them. That seems like the natural chain of progression. So I had come to my own conclusions about it. Matt had also said that he was going to come out, completely disrupt this evidence, you know, with evidence of his own. And he had like kind of stayed quiet for a really long time. I bit my tongue for as long as I could. I kind of started to think that just wasn't a good look. Wasn't a good look for him. Then the Bills, before the season even started, ended up releasing him so he could get handled what he needed to get handled. So what's changed, right? That's pretty rough stuff. The evidence piled against him was pretty bad. There was like diaries, all this other stuff. Well, a lot. I'm talking about bukus of bad evidence. I mean, just mountains of evidence going against the claim that she has made. So most importantly, the most important one is that Matt had taken this lady and thrown her onto a bed where she fell unconscious, and then bad things happened. Well, it was released that he was not even at the party at the time when the alleged incident took place, and there is a just surprising amount of video evidence to back this up. Speaking of video evidence, there was evidence released that is obviously not on the internet in public, and if it even was, you should absolutely never try to find this stuff ever. But video evidence was released in the other people's cases that says that at the very least, the reason the district attorney dropped the charges is because with said video floating around, it would be very hard to make the assertion that the acts would not be consensual. That's sort of as much as the article elaborates on. I've been hearing stuff in the rumor mill for quite a bit about this video before it ever made public. Obviously, I can't say anything while it's just a rumor, but now that the district attorney and the prosecutors have come out and talked about this video, yeah, it's not looking good. On top of that, this young lady was also walking around the party, telling people two things: that she was both over the age of 18. A lot of witnesses came forward and said that she was telling people that she was over the age of 18. And on top of that, she was also into some promiscuous stuff at the party, asking for, I guess you could say, sexually gratifying experiences, and even being very provocative with other guys there, which obviously, if something like what she's alleging were to have happened, her past performances don't mean that all of a sudden everybody else is off the hook if something bad did happen. However, this is just to give a little bit more context as to the rest of that night. So finally, I mean, so like all this is going against her. Matt wasn't even there for the alleged incident to happen. She was clearly on tape lying, which was she was lying about her age the entire night, which is one of the things that was going against Matt regardless, was that there was supposedly some consensual incident that happened between them. However, with her lying, you know, that's can't go and sue somebody after you lie to them about something like that. Kind of muddies the water significantly. What comes next? Like that's the biggest thing. So here's where this really kind of hits home for me, is this man had his career and his reputation tarnished, absolutely just ran through the mud. Some of the things people were saying about him, some of the things people were thinking about him, the depth that this person went to create these elaborate lies about what happened that night is nothing short of like it makes my skin crawl. And that's part of one of the reasons why I wanted, not that I wanted to, I never want anything bad to happen to anybody, but I wouldn't want to think that somebody had the capacity to make up such egregious lies about another individual. That's what I would hope. I'm glad to hear that all signs point to Matt's innocence. But now, if signs point to his innocence, there's a whole nother set of signs that points to a very bad actor in this whole case. And that's some sort of repercussion needs to happen in the legal system. Obviously, nobody hunt this individual down, but like some form of repercussion has to happen. Matt has had so much taken away from him, so much ruin, and this just doesn't need to slide under the radar. There needs to be some sort of repercussion, and I think he absolutely deserves another shot in the NFL. Now, while it would be pretty on brand for this channel to discuss which teams need a punter and where I think he should get a shot at, maybe that's for a different video. This is just a little bit too serious a little too serious to start hopping into where I think he'd be a good fit at. But just want to put this out there. I think it's very important that the people and the media tell it as loudly of his innocence as the media spoke of his proclaimed or alleged guilt. So this has to be out there. Share this to anybody who thinks that he's not innocent. I'll link all the articles in the description. Have a great day.